I think the D&D community might be too obsessed with player agency. Let me explain. I was talking to another dungeon master the other day, and we were talking about different campaigns we were running, and I mentioned that I don't currently have a campaign because the last one that I had, we had like an overarching plot we were trying to get done, and then things went off the rails and the campaign kind of fell apart. And immediately, this other DM started excoriating me on the need to prioritize player agency and not be afraid for my players to go anywhere and do anything and not have a plot because then I'm trying to tell my own story and I don't need players for that. I didn't say I was railroading my players and they got fed up with it and left. I didn't say that I had things that I needed to happen, and when the players tried to do something else, I got angry and quit the campaign. I said it went off the rails, meaning the group broke apart. You know, if the group was the train, it jumped off the rails, right? The group itself stopped getting together because we all got busy with life, right? However, this interaction made me think, do not confuse having a plot with railroading. You are allowed to have a plot. As the dungeon master, you are allowed to say, this is the adventure that we have prepared, and if you guys want to go do something different, cool. The session's over. I'm going to go prep that content for you, right? Players cannot go anywhere and do anything. There are certain things, maybe there's things you don't allow to happen in your campaign, right? Your players can't go do that. So are you impacting their agency? No, that's called having rules, right? That's the reality. You're allowed to have a plot. You're allowed to prep an adventure. And if you are a player and your DM has prepped an adventure, if you decide, I don't really want to do that adventure, you need to talk to them and say, hey, I'm not really interested in this adventure. Maybe can we try something different? Maybe in our next session, let's get some plot hooks for a different adventure, right? You don't come to the session, realize it's an adventure you don't like, and then in that session, you decide, oh, we're not going to go to the town of Fredericksburg where the plot hook is leading us. We're going to go to the city of Gold or something, right? You can't throw away the adventure that your DM has prepped, because then you are forcing them to do their prep work on the fly. And that's not okay. If you have talked to the DM and they said, hey, I love improv, I love doing prep work on the fly. If you guys want to just go randomly, that's cool. We can do that. But if your DM has not said that, then it is on you as a player to not force them to improv, right? If my players said, oh, we're going to go to, we're going to abandon the town of Fredericksburg, we're going to head to the city of Gold, cool, we're going to have random encounters until you guys either turn around or the session is over so that I can prep the city of Gold, right? I'm not going to improv the city of Gold on the fly, okay? In this video, you saw how long it took me to come up with a random name for the city. You really want me to try and improv the entire session? You want to try and force me to improv the entire session because you didn't like the plot hook to the town of Fredericksburg? That's called being a jerk. Or, as Matt Colville says, being a wangrod. Don't be a wangrod. When you sit down at the table, you are agreeing, at least for this one session, we are going to follow whatever plot hook the DM puts in front of us. That's the social contract of D&D. So back to the thesis of, this video, the thing I started with, we are way too obsessed with player agency because we have convinced ourselves that having a plot is railroading. And that is simply not true. Your players can have agency within the story you have created, right? I don't know what the players are going to do when they get to Fredericksburg. There's not a set list of things they have to do, but in Fredericksburg, there are zombies that are randomly popping up. The players have to deal with them. they can either kill all the zombies, or they can go try and hunt down the necromancer, or they can try and evacuate the town, right? They can do whatever they want within the framework of the plot. The plot is this town has zombies popping up and we need to deal with it. But the players can choose how to deal with that plot however they want, right? That is player agency. Player agency is not, I can go anywhere and do anything, right? That is what we need. There are parameters, right? For example, another situation where, some people have convinced themselves that this is taking away player agency is character creation. As the dungeon master, you are perfectly within your rights to say, we are restricting, nobody is allowed to play a warlock because warlocks are unheard of in this world, or nobody's allowed to play a monk because we don't have that framework in this world. Or you can say everyone has to be a spellcaster because we are a school of wizards. You guys, you can be a sorcerer at the school of wizards. You can be a warlock at the school of wizards. You can be a cleric at the school of wizards. You can be a paladin at the school of wizards. But everyone has to be a spellcaster of some kind. You're perfectly allowed to have that. Other people are arriving in the parking lot at work. I'm waiting to go inside because it was raining, although it's stopped raining now. But anyway, you're allowed to put restrictions on character creation. There's nothing wrong with having restrictions on character creation. In fact, that's a good thing to do, to restrict character creation, because then it forces characters to engage the thinking, creative part of their mind. Right? I'm a math teacher, so anything I can do to force characters or to force players, people, students to engage the thinking part of their mind is a win-win. And when you put restrictions, right, you say everyone has to be a human for this campaign, or nobody's allowed to be a human for this campaign, right? You force the characters to start thinking about new and exciting characters. You force the players to start thinking about new and exciting characters. You get them engaging with the thought process, right? And that is a healthy process to do. And you can put literally any restriction. It's not taking away player agency. It is giving parameters for the campaign, right? So, for example, in the campaign that I am going to be starting, you can be a human, a dwarf, an elf, a halfling, or a half-elf. And I'm looking into creating half-dwarf, and I was thinking maybe halfling and like half-halfling, but I don't know if that would be, maybe that's just too weird. Or maybe I throw gnomes in, and then halflings are half-human, half-gnome, right? But I'm restricting the amount of races that the players can be, so that we can create a story about what is going on. Where did all the Dragonborn go? Where did all the Tieflings go? Where did all the Lizard Men go? Where did all the Orc PCs go, right? What happened in the world to cause this thing to happen? That is allowing player agency within the context of your campaign. And it's not a bad thing, okay? It's a good thing to restrict player creativity so that they actually have to engage in the creative process. Anyway, it started raining again, so I'm gonna rush inside, but there you go. The car was parked the whole time, by the way. And I posted a short once where I was in my car and someone said that I should have parked my car before making the video. And I was parked the whole time. I don't film while driving. So there you go. Anyway, have a good day. If you've not subscribed to the channel already, go ahead and subscribe. Most of my content is dice videos, but I am going to start expanding that into other types of things. But there you go.